I've been travelling India for some time now, and I'm just beginning to understand what's going on. This week, I'm in Tamil Nadu, the earliest British settlement where many examples of British architecture still survive. My stop-off is Madras, now known as Chennai, on the southeastern coast of India, a vibrant city, the country's fourth largest, and gateway to the south. Madras officially changed its name to Chennai in 1997, but I'll always think of it as Madras, because you don't order a Chennai curry, do you? The city is large and sprawling, with a population of around 6 million. I bet if you're over 40, the very first curry you ever had was a meat Madras. And even to this day, if you're those that like 10 pints of lager, what can beat a meat Madras late on Saturday night? Well, this is the stuff, Madras powder, made here in Madras. But curiously enough, this very fiery mixture of chilies, coriander and other spices is very seldom used here. It's made exclusively for export for us. Originally, it was a dish that the British Raj loved. And when they all retired and went back to England when independence came, they wanted the flavours of the East, as they thought, re-imported into England. So they got this stuff dragged over. I love these old cars. Anyway, we're here at last at Chettinad Palace. The Chettiar, for many centuries, have been merchants and traders, entrepreneurs and moneylenders. But they're a philanthropic lot, and they've built schools, universities and temples all over the place. In the 20s, they enjoyed royalty status, and even to this day, they at least live like princes. This modest pile has 50 rooms and 12 bedrooms. After the sheer opulence and style of the salons and reception rooms, I was utterly amazed to step from such sophisticated good taste into a sweltering medieval cauldron of cooks sweating before the intense heat of wood fires and kitchen maids scrubbing pots cross-legged on the floor. It ain't half hot, Mum. Now, Chettinad cooking is extremely spicy, and today's chicken curry will be exactly that. Obviously, with lovely chunks of chicken, chili powder, coriander powder, turmeric, tomatoes, onions, a lovely mixture of poppy seeds, cumin and fennel, and some cloves, cinnamon and bay leaves. Now, the first thing we have to do is get the pot onto this, and for those of you doing this at home, it is wood mark 2. Now, one of the phrases that keeps turning up in Indian cooking is tempering or crackling, and this brings out this business of throwing spices into hot oil for a few seconds, brings out cinnamon. Now goes in, bay leaves first, cinnamon, and then some cloves. This brings out the flavour of the spices. There's a bit of a stir around. Next, we put in a load of sliced onions, Indian red onions. Very good, these red Indian onions. They're very sweet and very tangy, very delicious indeed. Then we will add some tomato, chopped up, roughly chopped, pips, all the juice that comes with it, and stir that in. Then we'll add our poppy seed, cumin and fennel seed paste. Put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those in there. Then we'll add some ginger and garlic paste, puree I should say. Again, just fresh ginger, fresh garlic, processed in the blender. Or here, I've no doubt, they'd actually pound it up in a pestle and mortar. Then the dried spices, first of all, some turmeric. Then some chili. And then some coriander. And then pieces of free-range chicken chopped up on the bone. And let that simmer away for a couple of hours. In fact, because that needs to cook nice and slowly, I'll move it back down to wood mark 2, which is there. Then I'm going to shallow fry some fish. Now, in here, I have a puree of onion and ginger. I'm going to add some turmeric and some chili and a dash of vinegar. mix that into a lovely paste, quite dry. Then here are some lovely pieces of swordfish. And all we have to do, paint this fish. And that, for the moment, is that. I do hope that the boss here doesn't invite one of those television makeover teams to come in here and modernise his kitchen, because it is, despite being hot and uncomfortable, absolutely fabulous. So, after the heat of the kitchen, the reward. Crispy fried steaks of swordfish in ginger, onion, turmeric and chilies. And a searingly hot chicken stew with a tomato and onion-based sauce flavoured with chilies, turmeric, cardamoms, bay leaves, cinnamon, in fact, all the wonderful spices of the Orient. Plastered all over Madras, you'll see these garish hand-painted billboards advertising the latest Indian blockbusters. Madras, known as Mollywood, is rapidly challenging Bombay as the heart of the Indian movie business. Now, of course, clay pots aren't going to sit happily on your high-tech halogen hob. But if you live out here, on top of a little wood stove, they cook beautifully. But if you do use them, don't forget to soak them well in water first, because if you don't, they'll crack. Can I have these two, please? The good news here in Madras is that American culinary imperialism has not yet got a stranglehold on the place. So, if it's fast food you're after, the perfect place to eat is here, the Hotel Saravana Bhavan. A typical Madras light lunch involves 11 spicy vegetable dishes. Tomato, lentils, yogurt with cucumber and potatoes, wonderful greens, little lentils, rice, fabulous sweet beetroot, creamy chickpeas, and finally a little chickpea and coconut curry. Should that not suit you, should you be still a bit peckish, for a light supper or an early breakfast, you can have one of these fantastic dosas. Inside, spicy potatoes, so you break off a bit, give yourself a piece of spud, put in some coconut chutney, coriander chutney. I like my vegetable chutney. Whack it up like that. And the price, 55 pence for breakfast and under £1 for lunch. That was really great. Now let's see how they cook it. When I'm on location and the hotel manager says, "Would you like to see our kitchen?" my heart sinks. I have seen so many kitchens, I am bored to death with kitchens. But this is a fantastic kitchen, absolutely incredible. 40 chefs working virtually around the clock, cooking 150 different dishes for up to 4,000 people a day. The sights, the smells, the aromas and the activity is absolutely mind-bogglingly superb. I'd like to work here for a week. Since the dawn of TV, these fishermen, and indeed their forefathers, have fished the Muttakadu backwaters. They make simple rafts of 5 or 6 balsa logs lashed together on bamboo crosspieces. They are called katu, Tamil for tide, maram, Tamil for wood, hence Katamaran, shamelessly hijacked by the Brits to name a 2-hulled yacht, a catamaran. I could happily stay watching in this cool, early Indian morning, but duty calls. I'm off to a deserted beach at the Fisherman's Cove Hotel to do some cooking. Here I have an excellent selection of beautiful vegetables, fruits and fish and spices that all either come from the Indian Ocean or grow right next to it. I'm going to try to cook 3 curries in the traditional fashion. The first one, in here, I've got some onions frying away. Now I'm going to add some turmeric powder, quite a bit of that. Now that has to be well stirred in to the oil to get rid of the powderiness from it. Then we'll add some pureed ginger and garlic. We cook that away for a few moments, again, to get rid of the powderiness and to get the garlic and the onions and the ginger cooked a little bit. This is our basic masala. And I'm now going to add some tomatoes with all their pips and juice. That's masala number 1. And now we're going to add masala number 2, which is ground coconut with mint, coriander, green coriander leaves, and chilies. We take that in and mix that all together and let that cook for 5 minutes or so till you have a lovely greeny kind of paste in the bottom of the pan. Then we need to add a little drop of water. I'm going to let that simmer away before I add the fish on my little charcoal cooker over here to your right, Mike. Now, our next dish requires, before we do anything else, what we call crackling the mustard seeds. We put these into the pan, and at the same time, we crackle some lovely curry leaves, so they're slightly crisp. And then we'll tip them into this pot here where I've already got onions and tomato frying away in oil. So we mix that into that. Goes down there. Give that a good stir round. Then again, we add some garlic and ginger, freshly pureed. And now, one of the great colours of India, turmeric. Have you noticed that all the tuk-tuks are painted turmeric colour? And lots of the lorries are painted chili colour. Anyway, some turmeric into there. And some chili powder as well. Let that cook for about 5 minutes so all the flavours are amalgamated. We've got rid of all the powderiness, that's very important. Then we'll add fresh coconut milk. Coconut milk, in it goes. And some lovely little crabs. We've taken out the nasty bit in the middle, leaving the lovely claws which you crack later and you suck out the insides from there. So we put the crabs into there. Meanwhile, I think we look at this one. This is now cooked nicely. So we can now add our pieces of pomfret.
Pomfret is a very popular local flat fish, but you could of course use bream, for example.
Now, a superb dish here of prawns in a very, very hot sauce. So we'll start off by frying some onions, get them really soft and sizzling, then add some tomato, let that fry down so you've almost got a tomato sauce. Then coriander, ground coriander, and ground chili. Again, mix it well in. What a lovely fiery red curry this is. Then we'll add a bit of ginger and garlic puree as with the other dishes. Then we'll add a handful or two of prawns into there. And as soon as that's taken nicely, we add in some little pieces of mango. Stir that in nicely, slightly sour mango. And there. So, a typical South Indian fish feast. Fish curry, flavoured with coconut, green coriander leaves, mint leaves and green chilies. And then we have a hot prawn dish flavoured with chili powder, turmeric,
ginger, tomatoes and onions, and a really spicy madras crab curry with coconut milk, chilies, turmeric powder, curry leaves and ginger. The lot of the cameraman is not an easy one, to quote the old song. He goes to India to look at the amazing temples, and we simple observers think, wow, how wondrous, how thunderous. But when we get there, on foot, in the dust, after a noisy, congested bus drive, they're often very disappointing. The smells, the mess, the beggars are, unless you're a real enthusiastic tourist, quite off-putting. Tamil Nadu is India's biggest rice producer, yielding 6 million tons a year. It is painstakingly tended by women like these who earn £1 a day for their labours. However, more about rice later. Today, I'm in a veggie state of mind. 3 exquisite vegetable dishes. Firstly, the yam. This is a yam. I've cut it up into little pieces, parboiled it, then I made a paste of garlic and fennel. I mix into that some chili and some turmeric, and then you coat the little darlings like that. That's the first dish. Second dish, one of my favourite things of all, is beetroot. Boiled, chopped into cubes, and then this is cooked with fresh coconut, mustard seeds, lentils, chilies and onions. And my first most important dish is going to be eggplants. Eggplants cooked with a tamarind puree, coconut, chilies, coriander, turmeric and curry leaves. So over here, already simmering for the last 20 minutes, I've had about 6 or 7 tomatoes coarsely chopped, 2 or 3 of those lovely red onions finely chopped, and I've been frying that in oil for about 20 minutes to get this lovely, rich, red sauce. First thing that goes into that now are the curry leaves. Meanwhile, over here, I've got these small eggplants partly cooked in oil. But the fun bit is here. I've got this lovely mixture of tamarind. You soak the tamarind in water, squeeze off all the flesh, put it into the blender and puree it, so it's almost a gravy. Into that, we add some ground fresh coconut. And then some turmeric, then coriander, then some chili. Give that a good mix up together. And add this to our onion and tomato sauce over here. Aren't these colours absolutely gorgeous? You know, it's such fun cooking Indian food. 8 programmes is nothing like enough to even scrape the surface of the diversity of this magnificent cuisine. At that point, you can now tip in all the eggplant into there and let that cook gently away for about another 15 or 20 minutes, so the sauce is nicely amalgamated and the aubergines are cooked. That's on a very low gas. Right, my next dish is great fun indeed. Again, all these dishes are fun. If I can find the gas lighter. Oh, right. Into the wok or the cry, put some oil. Right, next, what we do, we crackle some lentils and some mustard seed. Just fry those for a second or two to get the flavour out. Once they've crackled, we'll add some chopped onion. Again, these lovely red Indian onions, which are so good. And we'll fry that. Then we'll add some chopped green chilies. Just cook that away till they've all softened. And when they're all nicely soft, we'll add in a load of grated coconut and fry that, along with the other bits. I think I'll add a drop more oil. and fry that into a nice mixture, very, very slightly toasted. And the second that's all done, we can tip in our beetroot. Now tell me, doesn't that look mouth-wateringly appetizing? And it's taken, what, 2 or 3 minutes in total to prepare. So we'll put that over there for the time being, and then we'll go on to our last dish, which is the yams. Once again, I'll fight with the blasted gas. Oh. Good flame, a little oil. Get that hot. As I said, the yams are par cooked, so they're now just to be fried, shallow fried, until they're crispy on the outside and soft in the middle. And it is, in fact, as simple as that. 3 very healthy but extremely tasty dishes. First, aubergines cooked in tamarind and coconut. And second, we've got beetroot stir-fried with fresh coconut. Finally, some fried yam in a paste of fennel, garlic, chilli and turmeric. And no, it's not bits of fried bread. By the time I got to Madras, I'd had enough of polluted, overcrowded, dirty Indian cities. But I'm rather lucky. I'm not just a tourist trapped in a hotel for 2 weeks on a package holiday with nothing to do but to obey the orders of the tour leader. I'm able to go out into the country and see the temples, or go down to Fisherman's Cove on the Indian Ocean with its wonderful beaches, watch the fishermen plying their craft as they have done for centuries on simple bamboo catamarans. I'm able to taste and learn about the food, experience the sort of real passion that Indians have for cooking. Housewives, boys, children, chefs, they all love cooking. And it's a very enriching experience for me. So although I hated it when I first arrived, I was in fact sad to leave.
Oh, by the way, I've written a book to accompany this series. It's called Floyd's India, and it includes all the recipes I've shown you and more. And of course, it's available from all good bookshops.